Hey, good evening. How is everyone doing? I'd like to take the time to welcome you to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. I am your host, Hubbard, and today we're going to teach on a subject called Make Up Faith. Make up faith. And God was dealing with me that this is the kind of faith that many of you who claim to be a believer in Christ operate in. You operate in this kind of faith because you know within your heart that you really don't have the type of relationship that you need in God. You operate in this type of faith because you never really seen the blessings of God in your life as it relates to spiritual growth. You operate in this type of faith because you want people to think that you're more in tune with God than you actually are. I taught a message a couple of months ago, and I said some of you need to test your faith to see where you're at in God. And for many of you, you didn't test that faith because you knew if you tested it, you'll know what you already know is that you have no relationship with God. So be in James chapter 1 as we talk about this type of faith that is bombarding heaven with prayers that are worthless and no need of being answered. James chapter 1 says, James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings, my brethren. Count it all joy when you fall into divers temptation, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally and unupbraided not, and it shall be given him. You know, God is concerned about the state of faith that many of you all display publicly, but yet you're void of it privately. God is concerned how you boldly tell people that God answers your prayers, and late in the midnight hour, you crying because you don't know if God hears you. One of the things that we have to understand is that oftentimes God is not going to just be God to you until you show that he is God to you. And for many of us, God is only God when we hear a message, a prophecy, or something that feeds our fleshly spirit. And we go to running, talking in some kind of tongue. We go to praising his name. For some of us, we might throw a little money out there. But at the end of the day, you know God don't fool with you like that. You know he don't. So here in verse 2, it said, my brethren, count it all joy when you've fallen into diverse temptation. We understand diverse is defined as different temptation. The question is, why don't we count it all joy when we fall into diverse temptation? Why, when we tell people the different temptations we go in, depending on who it is, we look down upon? If Brother Hubbard said he was a whore and he liked the different women, and I laughed about it and I enjoy it, why get mad at me for being a whore? Because many of us that look at other people's trials, because we don't know their trial, we don't consider their trial a trial. We consider their trial whatever it makes you feel like. If a man cheat on a woman ain't gonna look at it as a trial. She gonna look at it as betrayal. If a woman cheat on a man, he's not gonna look at it as a trial. He's gonna look at it as betrayal. If a woman don't help a man, he's not gonna look at it as she's not helping the man. He's gonna look at it as selfishness. So where's the joy that you feel that James talk about when he says count it all joy? Because oftentimes when you are the one being tried, you don't see it as joy. So you mad at yourself. You mad at people around you. You mad because you have no faith. You got makeup faith. Notice most believers' faith is focused on what God can give them, what you want from God, and where God can place you. Nobody asks who they are in Him, what they call to do. God, what you want me to do? You can't see nothing as a test because you don't know how to read. That's why it's dangerous to belittle, condemn, convict, talk about what somebody's going through because you don't know what God is doing when He using their situation to bring them closer to Him. That's why I laughed when I read you that thing. Somebody told me you can't discern between reality. See, somebody thought I lived around here in reality. See, because that's all you can see, that's all you concerned about discerning. The Bible tells me I'm in this world, I'm not on this world. I'm not from this world. I never want to get to a place that I discern what reality is. I want to live in a place that somebody else can't see. I want to understand a place nobody else can see. And the reason that's me, because that shows me my relationship with God. Like I said, I don't care what you do with your hair, your makeup, the way you dress. What you doing ain't gonna stop me from seeing what I see. That's the spiritual realm. See, here it says, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. Why you mad if the woman chose another man? Why you mad if the man chose another woman? Okay, you ain't mad. Well, why are you upset? Why are you disappointed? Why you still remembering what you used to have? You got makeup faith. See, you thought if you gave this woman all your money, all your time, all your attention, you thought this woman would be the one. Oh, you thought this man knew that you knew how to cook and set a plate, and you throw it on in the bedroom and you show him how good you are. You thought you might have been the one. You know what God did to many of us this past year? He showed us how impatient we are. So now y'all sitting around here with the stuck face because what you wanted didn't want you. And what you got wasn't yours to keep. See, I've been around God long enough that he'll dangle a banana in your face knowing that you don't like bananas, but because of what the banana looked like, you will take a bite and you will like something that you don't even like. Sometimes God will give you an example of what he wants you to have to show you how impatient you are to do whatever it takes to get something that you ain't even ready for. So now you sitting in a place feeling incomplete. It's something to be with a person and you praying for God to keep you together with a person that God really don't even want you to have. It goes on and said, let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Why you got the stuck face? Why you look like somebody that doo-doo in your face? Why you taking shots and subliminals at people for moving on with their life? Why you sitting around wishing you had the life that you left? Because you ain't have no patience. Because you ain't have no faith. Because you didn't have a relationship with God. See, you got to understand, your faith is tested through trials, not produced by a trial. Trials reveal what faith we do have, not because God doesn't know how much faith we have, but so that our faith will be evident to ourselves and to those around us. The reason you ain't got nobody, you ain't got no faith. The reason your life is like it is because you ain't got no faith. See, being a human, a lot of times we run out when things get hard. We run out when things don't understand, when we don't understand things. We don't sit back and see the salvation of God. And the reason we can't see the salvation of God, because God ain't in us. Make up faith. You sit inside your little spot and you put on whatever kind of faith you needed to make it through the day, but it's not the faith of God. Just like that makeup, you put on faith that'll make you look good in front of people. But the people wondering, what you trying to look good for? Faith produces patience, which means I'm not going to rush you, God. I'm going to sit here till you think I'm ready to get what I deserve. And the problem with some of you, when you don't get what you deserve, you talk about it. You belittle it. You avoid it. So the work is not perfect because you still lacking. You know how we know you lacking? Because you still looking for love. You still looking for the right man, the right woman, the right opportunity, the right job. It's because you didn't pass the trial that was needed for God to see if you had faith in him. How many women you got to sleep with before God tells you that maybe it's something wrong in you? How many men you got to sleep with before you know it's something wrong in you? Why are you still looking for love? Can I tell y'all a secret? You know how I know a person doesn't have a real relationship with God? When they tell me they're looking for love. The Holy Spirit, the gifts, revelation, understanding, wisdom, all that flows out of love. So when they talk to me, they got God talk, but I know God ain't in them. Perfect love cast out fear, what I said yesterday. So how you telling me God talked to you and you scared and still looking for love when that's how he sent his son Jesus, out of love. So he's not going to break his rule, his hidden principle, because you want people to think that you got a relationship with God. It says that you may be perfect, entire, wanting nothing. How? Watch this now, you people who looking for love. How you know that you really love your last boyfriend, your last girlfriend, your last husband, your last wife? You couldn't have loved them if you left them to look for what you would. You couldn't have loved them if you left them looking for love. Ah, joke's on you, egg on your face. Because love never fails. So so you can't sit here. I love you to death. You just didn't love me how you wanted me to be loved. That's a broken record. I want my daddy record back. You couldn't have. Because when love perfected in you, ain't nothing nobody can do to you, say about you, that gets you to just up and go. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraid it not, and it shall be given it. It didn't say Google. It didn't say, let me ask Brother Hubbard. It said, let him ask of God. The reason some of you can't ask God, because you know you ain't got no relationship with him. So it's easier for you to come and ask me. I ain't got nothing for you. You better go get it like the Red Cross. God is looking for all of us to have a relationship with him. Ain't no shortcuts in this season. Ain't no do-overs. Ain't no, I'm sorry, God. It's time to grow up. You got to lace those boots up. See, you got to lace those boots up and be like, what's the name that wrestled the angel? God, I ain't gonna stop till I hear your voice. But you can't do that. You know why? Because you concerned about how the world see you. You concerned about how you look. You so concerned about how you portray that you can't stop and really seek God. Is because now God is showing many of you how carnal you really are. You're a reprobate. Verse 6 says, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavers is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his way. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. Anything a man tell you, you believe. Anything a woman show you and tell you, you believe. So now, what many of you doing, y'all using God to cover up your mistakes. God, I'm fine being single because I just want you. No, you don't just want God. What you do when that thing get moist? You pull out your rose, you go get your dildo, you use your fingers, or you call over Hitman Harry. If the Bible says it's not good for man to be alone, why so many women saying I'm single by choice? Y'all do know even a parked car get hit. One of my friends I knew, drunk, I heard, coming home. He died because he hit a parked car. Boom. So now, because you don't know what a real man is, you don't know what a real woman is, I'm just going to stay single. I'm going to wait on God to send me the perfect man. You using God to cover up your ignorance. Because God, I know for sure If God said it's not good for man to be alone, I know for sure you ain't prayed to God and he told you to stay single. He gonna send you what you want. The problem is y'all asking like ways. Well, I'm gonna pray to God for this, but in your heart, in your little voice, I don't think God gonna give it to me. I want this, but this who I really want. See, you wavering in your faith. The wavering you in your faith, you wavering in your faith because you're not consistent in your faith. That's why you unstable. That's why y'all be around him searching, researching people posts and page, trying to see what they doing, where they at. Who are you? Inspector Gadget? See, that's right. That within itself shows you that you don't have no faith in God because you worrying about how somebody else living their life. You trying to size up the competition, as they say. See, I guess I'm different because I really believe in this man called God. I pay attention when people say, "Oh, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for this." No, you ain't. How can you know what happiness look like if you never seen it in your life? If you are, how can you say you happy if you ain't never been happy in your life? Then it says, "Let the brother or a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." Ain't it something? The same people that you despise is the same. It's the same. It's the same people you got to go to for help. A lot of people, because your faith is weak, you allowing your faith to mess up your life. I had to order them new tires. You know what I'm saying? They telling me when them new tires coming in. You ain't even got faith enough to buy you a set of tires because you don't know when you got money coming in. You ain't got faith enough to wash your car because you scared it might rain. See, the reason a lot of you unstable is because you don't want to admit that you were wrong. You don't want to admit that you made mistakes. You don't want to admit that you don't really have a relationship with God. So it goes on about saying, "Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted." It's one thing for people to put you down. Don't put yourself down. You ain't got to be prideful with your relationship with God. But you can't tell me I ain't got no relationship with God. Because when we put up my God says against your God says, when we put up my testimony up against your testimony, when we put up what the power God shows through me against the power through to you, it's obvious who got the relationship with God. So I would never, ever let a person don't qualify to know who God is in me tell me God ain't in me. Oh, you could talk about me as an individual in the flesh, But the flesh don't matter because the Bible say the flesh gonna go. Let's have a debate about God and see how far that go. See, y'all don't argue me down about your fraternity and sorority bylaws, but you ain't got nothing to say about a revelation from the Bible. Y'all see where I'm going with this, don't you? It brings me relief to see so many pastors that was in sororities, in fraternities. They're coming out talking about how God suddenly showed them they was wrong. They showing me where the devil was in them. See, God is actually giving them the revelation. See, sometimes God got to let you do something. So, see, it's like that Trojan horse deal. They dress it up like a Trojan horse. Let me put him inside because once we get inside the enemy camp, we're going to expose everything. So God had to let some of you get in this stuff so he can let you go around. And then he said, well, let me pull them out and talk to them. Now they telling all the evil, the debauchery, the superstition, the fake God they had to serve. And some of y'all still around there with the stuck face when I talk about it. You know why that brings me so much joy? Because I ain't the only one no more. I ain't the only one no more. So what that means? Okay, God, I got to go teach about something else because now everybody else coming to the battle. The reinforcement coming in. I got to find something else to talk about. You know what I'm talking about? That you really ain't got faith in God. You really don't. See, the problem with some of you, you listen to me to hear what I got to say, but you never listen to me and follow the instruction of what God wants you to do. Because something in you know that you ain't got a relationship with God. Verse 10 said, but the rich in that he is made low, because as the flower of the grass he shall pass away. For the sun is no sooner risen with a burning heat, but it wherewith it is withered the grass, and the flower thereof falleth, and the grace of the fashion of it perishes. So also shall the rich man fade away in his way. See, what y'all gonna do when the makeup finally come off? How do you really see yourself? See, we I used to make up all kind of excuses for doing things I knew wasn't God like. But how do you know when God convict you or what not to do something? One reason you'll get mad. But see, y'all don't call it getting mad. Y'all call it being offended. Anytime somebody preaching the gospel and you getting offended, that means you being convicted. But you can't be convicted because you like what you're doing. So you rather talk about me for telling the truth than to look at yourself and know that you ain't following the truth. How you gonna go up to Hubbard's one stop? You ain't got no money. You'll put $10 on pump 3, but you'll spend $40 on that fake Gucci purse with the matching wallet. And here your bomb boyfriend coming in, he gonna spend 30 on that fake Gucci belt. But you at home praying for God to increase your finances. What a Gucci belt got to do with God? Why would God increase your finances to be a walking label for somebody else, God? You do know Gucci, Amari, Balenciaga, Red, all of them, they serve other gods. So why would God increase your finances to make some other God rich and God trying to build his kingdom, but you want to take it over there to you want to take it over there to Lenox Mall? For the sun is no sooner rising. So watch this. That look you got, that you God's princess, that you God's favorite man, that's finna fall. Because see, a lot of you done got caught with your pants down. You still trying to be something in God that you ain't. It says, verse 12 says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. But every man is tempted when he's drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then with lust have conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. See, you get mad because you being tried, but you don't know how God trying you because it's the devil. Everything ain't the devil. The Bible say we drawn away of our own lust and enticed. Y'all walk around here, y'all want to see the big butt and smile, and the big butt and smile giggling, or you want to see what that package hanging like, and God let you get that package, but watch this. You wanted the package, you didn't want the man. You wanted the big butt, you didn't want the woman. So now that like some of us, now we sit at home feeling used and abused because we didn't want the whole person. We wanted what we seen and what they had to offer. Because see, some of us talk a good game, but when it came down time to play the game, you didn't even know how to dribble the ball. I'm amazed at how y'all be around here putting on for social media. And it ain't nothing to you. What's the last instruction God told you to do that you struggling with right now? That shows you ain't got no faith in God. Because if you really have faith in God, you wouldn't struggle to do what he tell you to do. You'll just do it. Some of you have do it thinking that you're doing God a favor. You can't pass the temptation. Verse 16 says, do not err, my beloved brother. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and come down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creature. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. For the wrath a man working not the righteousness of God. Boy, I've been called everything but a child of God because somebody was angry. And I be trying to tell people, that's why I say leave me alone. But when you keep red ragging the bull and the bull charge, now you want to cry and play victim when you had no business messing with the bull. The reason some of us going through what we're going through is because of verse 19. You hear stuff, but you don't hear it for understanding, because if it don't line up for what you want to hear, you don't want to hear it. Then you go to talk it any kind of way. Then you get mad. Now there's a SOB. Now you want a divorce. Now you everything but a child of God. See, what y'all got to realize, especially with people like me, you can get mad and say everything you want to say about me. I'm gonna hear everything you say. But you don't know how long it'll take me to forgive you of what you said to me because you was angry. And because then when Brother Hubbard sit by himself and he go to thinking, did that heifer just call me what I said I called me? Now I got to sit back and plot my revenge. I don't like plotting revenges. That's why I got the Holy Spirit. But every now and then, God, I don't care what you say. This is what I'm finna do. He know I'm like that. Do he get on me? Ain't your business how. I get it. But that's that selfish satisfaction that you get into sometimes, that even your ministry don't even matter. Just getting even matters. That's a dangerous place to be in. Dangerous place to be in. You got to be careful what you hear and can't process. Because if you hear something and can't process it, it's going to produce anger. And what it shows, we not mad because we couldn't process it. We mad because we really couldn't understand how to process it. That's why sometimes when people come to me, they want to tell me something. I say, I don't want to hear it. But I don't want to hear it. When I say I don't want to hear it, I already know I can't process what you're saying. So don't force me to give you no answer. Because if you force me to give you an answer, you're going to get some choice words because I said I don't want to hear it. Because I got faith in God. Because God knows you might say something that you don't mean to say, and nobody knows how long Brother Hubbard will hold a grudge but me and God. I ain't say I'm going to do something about it, but I hold it. And then I'm just low down for no reason at all. I got a reason. I told you to leave me alone. So if the wrath of man work not the righteousness of God, as in verse 20 states, now some of you see why you have a hard time hearing God. You get too angry. Do like the old folks do. Count to 10. Go eat your what they got out there now? I ain't ate ice cream in so long. Go get you some orange sherbet. Go make your smoothie. Yeah, make you a smoothie. Cause when you throw that ice in that blender and you mad and you just and you see that ice crushing up that ice, that blender crushing up that ice and all that fruit. I hate this gut. And every time you hit it, they got these rage rooms out now. Go around in one of them rage rooms and tear something up. You rather tear or do something with your anger than to tear up the person that you love with your anger. Wherefore, lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted words which is able to save your soul. Y'all heard that? So how you saving your soul? You got to get rid of the superfluity. Yeah. Watch this now. Superfluity of naughtiness. That just sound bad though. Superfluity is defined as an unnecessary or excessively large amount or number of something. An unnecessary thing. So why do you have all those clothes in your closet? Superfluity. Why do you have all those purses and shoes? Superfluity. Why do you got all that makeup? Why do you got all those people on your social media accounts? A lot of you got a lot of things because if you look around, the thing that you have the most shows you who you really are. But it says superfluity of naughtiness, which means it ain't necessary talking about sex. But yet, you having sex with 4-5 men. You know, you got your rotation out there. Why you got all those guns? All those knives? I was looking at my shoes yesterday and I was looking at some of them. I said, dog, I ain't wore them in 4. I said, let me get rid of some of these. Some of them I only wore once or twice. And I'm looking at them. I said, well, I don't like them no more. And really, I got to get rid of them so it'll give me a reason. If I'm having to go, I can see something I like for now. So the shoes down, I'm looking at the bottom of it. I said, dog, I ain't even wear these. Superfluity. Why your closet full of clothes and it still got tags on it? Why all that money in your savings account, but you got a problem giving? You naughty little boy, you. But be ye doers of the words and not hearers only, deceiving your own self. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself and go his way, and straightway forget what manner of man he was. What you look like? Ain't that wrong with me? I know Brother Hubbard said such and such and such and such, but who he think he talking to? I'm all right. Me and God all right. I don't know what he talking about. I ain't got to apologize in that. Ain't nobody wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with me. You go on about your way. But then you get in a place, God, I need some help. God this, God, and God don't hear you because you became a hearer of the word and not do it. So you dressed all up like you some sexy vixen model, but inside you Raggedy Ann and Andy. See, one thing I learned, you can have that God talk all you want. I'm just looking at your action. And you ain't got no God action to match that God talk. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continue therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. That's why a lot of you are struggling, because you don't want to do what you hear. Now you ain't got no money. Now you worrying about what God doing in somebody else's life and he ain't moving in your life. Now you mad cause she didn't chose somebody else and didn't chose you. He didn't chose somebody else you don't choose. Now you around here comparing because you don't know who you is. You don't know who you is because you ain't got no relationship with God. If any among you seem to be religious and brighter not his tongue, but deceive his own heart, this man religion is vain. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. When the last time you really helped somebody and didn't want something back from God? When is the last time you did something for the kingdom and wasn't looking for a return? When the last time you helped that old lady that can't move, but you got all the latest trends, all the latest styles, all the latest clothes? You spotted in the world because you have not been spotted in God.